Good morning, champions. Let me tell you something you might not hear from the world, but you better tell yourself before the world tells you something different. Because if you don't speak the truth to yourself, the lies out there will speak louder. I am created for greatness. You were not born randomly or by accident. You are not some coincidence in the chaos of the universe. You were crafted intentionally, purposefully, and with divine precision. That means your life has meaning beyond survival. Greatness is not something you chase. It's something you unlock by aligning with the truth of who you already are. When you wake up in the morning and tell yourself, I am created for greatness, you're not being arrogant. You're being accurate. You're not hyping yourself up. You're waking yourself up. There's a massive difference between self-importance and self-awareness. This is about awareness. The awareness that you carry something the world needs. The awareness that your presence is purposeful and your potential is powerful. The awareness that you were not designed to live a mediocre life of reaction, but a meaningful life of intention. But here's the problem. Most people don't believe it. They've let life, culture, and circumstances whisper something weaker to them. They've allowed childhood traumas, financial setbacks, or broken relationships to tell them they're average. They've let failure redefine them instead of refine them. That's why this has to be a daily declaration. Because if you don't remind yourself of your divine design, the world will distract you with lies. Being created for greatness doesn't mean life will be easy. It means that every challenge has already been factored into your design. That means the struggle is not there to stop you, it's there to shape you. You don't build greatness without resistance. You don't develop leadership in luxury. Greatness is born in pressure, forged in pain, and expressed in purpose. You must understand that greatness isn't just about fame, followers, or fortune. That's surface level stuff. True greatness is internal. It's the standard you hold yourself to when no one's watching. It's the excellence you bring to your work, even when it feels thankless. It's how you treat people who can do nothing for you. Greatness is not about applause. It's about alignment. Alignment with your gifts. Alignment with your calling. Alignment with the higher version of yourself that already exists within you. The world doesn't give greatness to you. It recognizes it once you start living it. People don't crown you great. You crown yourself by the decisions you make every day. When you step into rooms with confidence, not arrogance. When you bring solutions instead of complaints. When you speak vision instead of gossip. That's greatness in motion. And don't make the mistake of thinking greatness is reserved for a chosen few. You are the chosen. You are the vessel. Your DNA carries design, your spirit carries calling, and your mind carries the power to activate it. The only thing stopping your greatness is your agreement with small thinking. You've got to reject mediocrity with everything in you. Stop shrinking to make others comfortable. Stop downplaying your dreams to fit in. Stop hiding your brilliance so you don't offend someone's insecurity. You weren't made to fit, you were made to stand out, to rise, to lead, to multiply. Greatness is not ego, it's obedience. It's saying yes to your assignment. It's understanding that your gifts were given to you to glorify something bigger than yourself. And when you walk in that truth, when you begin your day with that level of awareness, you start operating on a different frequency. You stop asking, can I, and start declaring, I will. You stop settling for what is and start stepping toward what could be. Because you know who you are. You know what you carry. You know what you were created for. Today, I choose discipline over comfort. Every single morning, you are presented with a choice. And that choice is going to shape your destiny more than talent, more than opportunity, and more than circumstance. That choice is whether you're going to operate from your feelings or from your decisions. Feelings want to keep you comfortable. Decisions, real decisions, demand discipline. Discipline is what moves the needle. Discipline is what gets you in motion when motivation is nowhere to be found. Motivation is seasonal. Discipline is eternal. Choosing discipline is not natural, it's intentional. The default setting of the human body and mind is preservation. Your nervous system is designed to avoid discomfort, to resist change, and to seek safety. But the life you want, the business you dream of, the relationships you desire, the impact you crave, they do not live in safety. They live on the other side of what's hard. So when you wake up and tell yourself, today, I choose discipline over comfort, you're making a decision to step into growth, not retreat into ease. Discipline is saying yes to your long-term goals when your short-term feelings beg for an escape. Discipline is going to the gym when the bed feels warmer. It's writing the content when the ideas feel fuzzy. It's making the sales call when rejection echoes in your head from yesterday. Comfort tells you, just take it easy, you've earned it. Discipline says, if you really earned it, prove it again today. Discipline doesn't apologize for being demanding because it knows what's at stake. And what's at stake is not just your income, it's your influence. It's your impact. It's your legacy. See, there are people who will wake up today and let the day tell them how to feel. Then there are people who will wake up and tell the day how it's going to go. That difference is called discipline. You can't control every outcome, but you can control how you approach the day. Comfort reacts, discipline decides. Comfort consumes, discipline creates. Comfort avoids challenge, discipline invites it because it knows pressure creates power. You have to train your mind to obey your mission. Because your mind is a master negotiator, it will always try to talk you into quitting early, starting tomorrow, or settling for good enough. Discipline overrides the negotiation. Discipline says, I don't negotiate with excuses. Discipline is ruthless with compromise, and that's exactly what makes it liberating. Because every time you choose discipline, you reinforce your identity as someone who follows through, as someone who can be trusted, as someone who leads themselves, even when nobody else is watching. People admire discipline, but they often misunderstand it. They think it's restrictive, but the truth is, discipline is freedom. Freedom from regret, freedom from inconsistency, freedom from wasted potential. Discipline gives you the keys to unlock every room that laziness keeps locked. Discipline is what lets you master your craft, elevate your brand, and execute at a level that excellence demands. Success doesn't respond to wishful thinking. It responds to daily disciplines. Small, repeated actions that look insignificant today, but compound into greatness tomorrow. You won't always feel like being disciplined, but you can always decide to be. And every time you do, your confidence compounds because you start to trust yourself. And when you trust yourself, you stop hesitating, you stop procrastinating, you stop playing small. Discipline eliminates the friction between who you are and who you're called to be. It's the shortest path between your current reality and your future vision. Not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Comfort might give you pleasure today, but discipline gives you power for life. My words create my world. What comes out of your mouth is not casual, it is creative. Words are not empty sounds. They are carriers of intention. They are containers of belief. They are instruments of construction or destruction. Every word you speak is a seed, and that seed grows into the environment you eventually live in. If you speak fear, you create fear. If you speak power, you create power. You are literally shaping your reality with the vocabulary you allow to flow from your lips. Every morning, the moment your eyes open, your mouth should open with purpose. Because if you don't intentionally speak truth, your day will be hijacked by fear, confusion, or negativity, either from your own mind or someone else's. You cannot afford to be casual with your language because your language is creating your lens, and your lens determines your level. Speak defeat and you will walk through the day looking for signs of failure. Speak abundance and you'll see opportunities where others see obstacles. The difference isn't the situation, it's the script playing in your mouth. You are always prophesying, either over your future or against it. When you say, I can't do this, you're not just describing a feeling, you're prescribing a limit. When you say, I always mess things up, you're not just venting, you're volunteering for a pattern. Language is how the mind gets programmed, and once the mind is programmed, behavior follows. That means your words are not just reflections of your mindset, they are the architects of it. You don't speak based on where you are, you speak based on where you're going. And if you want to go higher, you've got to speak higher. Stop thinking your words don't matter. They matter more than you know. The most dangerous thing about negative speech is how normal it sounds. People will casually say, I'm so broke. I never get a break. I'm just not good at this, as if these are harmless phrases. But repetition makes reality. The more often you say something, the deeper it carves into your identity. And the deeper it carves, the harder it becomes to act against it. You're building subconscious walls with your own voice and then wondering why you feel stuck. You must begin every day by activating your voice as a tool of vision. You speak to your situation, not just about your situation. You speak what you want to see even if you don't see it yet. That's not delusion. That's decision. That's leadership. That's ownership. You are not a reporter of your reality. You are the author of it. And your words are the pen. Every sentence is a stroke on the canvas of your future. So choose wisely. Speak intentionally. Declare powerfully. Even in business, language is leverage. A leader who speaks clarity creates direction. A salesperson who speaks belief transfers certainty. A coach who speaks identity shapes destinies. Words are tools of transformation. Whether you're in the boardroom, on a live stream, or in a quiet moment by yourself, your words are either raising your value or lowering it. You want to build wealth? Speak like someone who manages wealth. You want to lead people? Speak like someone who owns their voice. You want to change lives? Speak life every time you open your mouth. Don't wait until you feel confident to speak powerfully. Speak powerfully until your confidence catches up. Speak light when you feel heavy. Speak hope when you feel doubt. Speak progress even when the process feels slow. Because your words aren't just commentary, they're commands. They instruct your mind, they shape your emotions, they influence your actions, and actions build outcomes. The world you want to live in starts with the words you're willing to speak. Problems are just undiscovered profits. Every problem you encounter is not a punishment, it's potential. It's a door disguised as difficulty, a payday wearing the mask of pressure. The world will tell you to avoid problems, to run from resistance, to pray for ease. But what separates the average from the extraordinary is how they interpret pain. Most people see a problem and say, why me? High performers see a problem and say, here's my opportunity. Because they understand that problems aren't interruptions, they're invitations. They are signals from the market, from the people, from life itself, telling you this is where value needs to be added. There is a direct connection between your ability to solve problems and your ability to create wealth. Money moves in the direction of solutions. The bigger the problem you solve, the higher the level of compensation you unlock. That's why people who complain the most usually earn the least. And people who solve with courage, creativity, and consistency tend to rise. Because while others are avoiding discomfort, they are extracting diamonds. Problems are profit potential wrapped in inconvenience. But if you can learn to extract wisdom, offer a solution, and systematize your response, you don't just solve the problem, you build an asset. You've got to shift your mindset. Don't resent problems. Don't fear them. Learn to welcome them. They are the raw materials of purpose and profit. Every major business you admire was born from someone identifying a frustration, a breakdown, or a gap. Uber came from people hating how hard it was to get a taxi. Airbnb came from people needing a place to stay that hotels couldn't provide. Amazon came from the problem of inconvenience in shopping. Problems create demand, and demand is where your solution becomes valuable, but only if you choose to see it that way. When you shift your focus from why is this happening to me to what is this trying to teach me, you move from a victim to a visionary. You stop looking at the surface and start digging for the gold. Because every problem is layered. The surface level is pain. But under that pain is a pattern. And under that pattern is a principle. And once you understand the principle, you can replicate the solution, not just once, but as a process. And that process becomes a business. That process becomes your offer. That process becomes your proof that you bring value to the table. Don't wait for life to be problem-free before you step into action. You grow your income by growing your problem-solving capacity. You elevate your influence by showing people you can lead them out of what they're stuck in. The marketplace doesn't reward noise, it rewards answers. If you want to be irreplaceable, become someone who makes confusion clear. Become someone who brings calm into chaos. Become someone who takes a frustration and turns it into a framework. That's how you create leverage. That's how you scale impact. That's how you monetize insight. And this doesn't only apply to external problems. The internal ones count too. The struggles you've overcome, the trauma you've processed, the questions you've wrestled with. Those are not random. They're receipts. They're evidence that you carry solutions that others still need. Your breakthrough didn't happen just for you. It happened through you so others could walk a faster path. Every scar is a signal. Every lesson is a lever, but only if you're willing to stop hiding it and start helping with it. So the next time a problem shows up, don't panic. Pay attention. That problem is speaking. It's pointing you toward a place where value is missing. And if you're bold enough, wise enough, and disciplined enough to provide it, you won't just be solving a problem, you'll be building a platform. And platforms built on problems solved are the foundations of sustainable success. I serve people by solving problems. Service is not weakness. It is not passive. It is not about lowering yourself. Real service is strategy. It is leadership. It is the highest form of marketplace value. In a world that celebrates selfish ambition and empty attention, choosing to serve sets you apart. It positions you differently. Because service is not just about doing something kind. It's about identifying a specific problem, stepping up with a solution, and delivering it with excellence. And the greater the problem you solve, the greater the value you create. The greater the value you create, the greater the reward that follows. Money doesn't chase passion, it chases precision. It chases relevance. It chases answers. The fastest way to multiply your income, your influence, or your impact is not by promoting yourself more. It's by solving more problems for more people at a higher level. That means your mission every day is to wake up and ask yourself, who am I helping and how am I helping them? Not just in theory, not in a vague inspirational way, but in practical, measurable, repeatable terms. If people don't understand how you solve their pain, they won't pay for your promise. Service in business is not charity, it's clarity. People are not paying you for your time, they're paying you for transformation, and transformation only happens when a problem gets solved. Whether you're a coach, a creator, a consultant, a leader, or a builder, your value comes from your ability to see where someone is stuck, understand the root of their frustration, and deliver a clear pathway out. That's what builds trust, that's what builds authority, that's what builds income. You have to understand that every dollar you want is currently in someone else's pocket, connected to a problem they haven't solved yet. Your job is to make the exchange make sense. That means you can't afford to just sell products. You've got to sell outcomes. You've got to make your service so aligned with the problem that when people hear what you do, they feel relief just from the description. That's what happens when your service is locked in on a real problem. It creates emotional clarity. It creates urgency. It creates connection. But here's the deeper truth. Serving people by solving problems doesn't just grow your business. It grows you. Because every time you choose to focus on helping others win, you're also sharpening your awareness, stretching your creativity, and elevating your leadership. Selfish ambition is narrow, but service-driven ambition is expansive. When you move through life with a service mindset, you stop being controlled by comparison. You stop obsessing over visibility. You start focusing on value. And value is what never goes out of style. There's something powerful that happens when you truly internalize that your service is not just a task, it's a calling. It's not just about making money, it's about making people's lives better. It's about recognizing that your unique set of skills, experience, pain, perspective, and gifting were not given to you for storage, they were given to you for service. There are people praying for a breakthrough, and your solution might be the answer they've been waiting for, but they can't benefit from it if you're too timid to offer it boldly. You don't need to be perfect to serve. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to be committed to showing up with intention, listening for the real need behind the noise, and responding with courage. That's the mark of a real leader. Not someone who demands attention, but someone who earns it by being the answer someone else needed. Service is the strategy that scales. It's the model that multiplies. When you understand that your business is just a system for serving people through structured problem solving, everything changes. You stop chasing trends and start chasing transformation. You stop waiting for opportunities and start creating them through the value you bring. Everything I need is already in me. There is a power in you that's been present since the beginning. It's not something you acquire, it's something you awaken. The world may try to convince you that you're missing something, that you need to get more before you become more. But the truth is, everything you need to walk in purpose, build success, and create impact has already been deposited inside of you. You don't need more credentials, more permission, or more validation. You need more awareness, more activation, and more alignment with what you already carry. The challenge is that most people spend their lives searching externally for what can only be discovered internally. They think the answer is out there somewhere, in a book, in a mentor, in a course, in a platform. And while all those things can help shape and sharpen what you have, they cannot supply what's missing because nothing is missing. Tools can enhance what's inside you, but they cannot replace it. That means your confidence can't be borrowed. Your vision can't be outsourced. Your authority can't be assigned by someone else. It must rise from the recognition that you are already equipped. You were born with a set of gifts that, when developed and directed, will open doors no one else can close. You were born with instincts, with insight, with capacity that others may not immediately recognize, but that doesn't mean it's not real. Just because they don't see it doesn't mean it's not in you. It just means it's your job to uncover it, refine it, and walk in it even before the world applauds it. Identity always precedes influence. You have to believe in who you are before you get confirmation from outside. Too often people wait to feel ready before they act, but readiness is not a feeling, it's a decision. Readiness is not about having all the answers. It's about trusting the resourcefulness within you to figure things out as you go. You don't get clarity by standing still. You get clarity by moving. And the movement activates momentum, and momentum uncovers mastery. The power to pivot, the power to create, the power to lead. It's all in you, waiting for the moment you stop doubting and start doing. When you believe that everything you need is already in you, you stop comparing yourself to others. You stop chasing someone else's path and start owning your own. You stop asking for permission and start showing up with conviction. You realize that the people you admire, the leaders you follow, the influencers you watch, they don't have more worth than you. They just activated what they had. And if you're willing to stop outsourcing your power and start owning your process, you can do the same. Every limitation that tries to define you is waiting to be challenged. Every insecurity is just a question that hasn't been answered with action. You don't defeat fear with information, you defeat it with movement. Because action reveals capacity. Action develops competence. And confidence is built not by being perfect, but by being present over and over again until what once intimidated you becomes what you now lead. You were not designed to be dependent on external validation to function. You are designed to operate from internal conviction. That means every time you hesitate to pursue a vision, every time you delay using your voice, every time you minimize your gift, you're not lacking ability, you're lacking alignment. The gift is there, the potential is there, the strategy, the creativity, the resilience, the insight. It's all in you. You just have to believe it long enough to behave like it. When you walk in the belief that nothing outside of you defines you, you stop shrinking in the presence of greatness because you realize you're part of it. You stop waiting for life to hand you something and start realizing life has been waiting on you to release what's been stored in you since the beginning. You were not made to consume. You were made to contribute. You are not empty, you are equipped. You are not behind, you are becoming.